1184 BC, midnight. The heart of Troy, absolute darkness. Inside a wooden cavity 10 feet wide, 30 men sit in complete silence. They've been here for 18 hours. The air is thick, unbreathable, smells like cedar resin and sweat. Outside, music, laughter, thousands of voices celebrating. A voice whispers in ancient Greek, "Silence." One of the warriors trembles. His breathing accelerates. He's losing control. Another grabs his arm in the darkness. The message is clear. Control yourself, or we all die. Outside footsteps. Someone walks near the horse. The 30 men hold their breath. The wood creaks. If they cough, if they move, if someone hears them, they die burned alive. But if they survive the next 2 hours, this city, the most powerful in Asia Minor, the one that resisted 10 years of siege, the one that defeated the largest army ever assembled, will cease to exist. In the darkness, Odysseus, king of Ithaca, architect of this plan, whispers barely audible, 2 hours. Then Troy burns. This is the most brilliant military deception in ancient history. Nobody has ever infiltrated a fortified city like this before. If they're discovered, it means death for everyone inside. This is inside the Trojan horse. The plan has 3 steps. First, at midnight, exit the horse without being detected. Then, open Troy's gates from the inside. And finally, when the Greek army floods in, destroy everything. 10 years earlier, 1194 BC Sparta, Prince Paris of Troy commits the crime that starts everything. He steals Helen, wife of King Menelaus, and flees to Troy in the middle of the night. He also empties 3 Spartan treasury rooms. When Menelaus discovers his wife is gone, he doesn't just grieve. He collects on an oath all Greek kings made years ago, defend Helen's marriage. One by one, they answer. Agamemnon of Mycenae, the most powerful king in Greece. Achilles of Phthia, the greatest warrior alive. Ajax the Great, a giant who could fight 20 soldiers at once. Odysseus of Ithaca, the most dangerous of all. They assemble 1,186 ships, over 50,000 warriors. Destination, Troy. Mission, burn the city, kill Paris, recover Helen. King Priam of Troy faces an impossible decision. His son committed an unforgivable crime, but he's his son. Priam chooses blood over peace. He refuses to return Helen. The ships arrive. The siege begins. Nobody knows it will last 10 years. Year 1. The Greeks storm the beaches. They expect Troy to fall within months. It doesn't happen. Troy's walls are ancient, built, according to legends, by the gods Apollo and Poseidon themselves. The masonry is so perfect that engineers 3,000 years later still can't explain how it was achieved. The walls are 20 feet thick, 40 feet high, watchtowers every 100 feet, 3 layers of defense. The Greeks cannot break them, so they settle in for siege warfare. They cut supply routes, they raid villages, they wait for Troy to starve. But Troy has allies throughout Asia Minor sending food, soldiers, gold. The siege drags on. Year 2. Plague ravages the Greek camp. Hundreds die daily. Year 3. Agamemnon and Achilles clash. Achilles refuses to fight. The Greeks lose ground. Year 4. Hector, Troy's greatest warrior, nearly burns the entire Greek fleet. Year 5. Achilles kills Hector in single combat. He drags his body for 12 days around the walls. Hector's death changes nothing. The war continues. Year 6. Paris kills Achilles with an arrow to the heel, his only vulnerable spot. Year 7, Year 8, Year 9. The deaths pile up. Both sides lose thousands. By Year 10, everyone is exhausted, but neither side will surrender. Agamemnon calls a war council. His commanders are desperate. They've tried everything. Siege, assault, single combat, negotiations, nothing works. Then Odysseus speaks. He's been quiet lately, thinking, planning. He proposes something insane. They're going to build a horse. Odysseus explains the plan. The Greeks will pretend to surrender. They'll burn their camps. They'll sail away. But they'll leave a gift, a massive wooden horse. The Trojans will see it as a victory trophy. They'll bring it inside their walls, but the horse will be hollow. Inside will be Troy's destruction. Agamemnon asks the obvious question. Why would the Trojans bring a Greek horse inside their city? Odysseus smiles. Because they'll want to. The horse must be enormous, too large for Troy's gates, so the Trojans will have to tear down part of their own walls to get it in. Perfect reverse psychology. Construction begins. 30 carpenters work day and night for 3 weeks. They use Trojan oak, sacred wood. The horse measures 75 feet tall, wide as a house. Eyes painted gold, mane carved from cedar, sculpted muscles. The Trojans watch from their walls, confused, curious. What are they building? Meanwhile, Odysseus selects his team. He needs warriors who can control themselves, who won't panic in tight spaces. He chooses 29 men. Neoptolemus, Achilles' son, 19 years old, hungry for glory. Menelaus, 42 years old, wants to be there when they recover Helen. Ajax the Lesser, fast and lethal. Diomedes, second only to Achilles in combat. And Odysseus makes 30. Each warrior brings a bronze short sword 24 inches long, a backup dagger, light armor to move silently. They're told what will happen. They'll be sealed inside before dawn. They'll sit in darkness for hours, maybe a full day. If they're discovered, they die. If the Trojans burn the horse, they die. If anyone panics, they all die. Every warrior volunteers. The plan also requires a volunteer to sell the lie from the outside. A soldier named Sinon rehearses his story over and over. His performance will determine if this plan works. The final night arrives. The horse is complete. At 12 a.m., the 30 warriors climb inside through a hidden panel in the horse's belly. The space is tight, 10 feet wide, 6 feet high in the center. 30 adult men sitting pressed against each other. Odysseus is the last one in. The panel closes behind him. Total darkness. The carpenters seal it from the outside. For the 30 warriors in the horse, the wait will be 18 hours. Now they wait. Step 1 complete. They've identified the city's weakness. Next, they must convince Troy to bring the horse inside. Then, in the cover of darkness, the real attack begins. Hour 1, 1 a.m. The Greeks begin burning their camps. Thousands of tents engulfed in deliberate flames. Inside the horse, the 30 warriors hear the chaos outside. Screams, orders, the crackling of fire. Odysseus sits motionless, conserving energy. They have a long wait ahead. Hour 3, 3 a.m. The Greek fleet begins to sail. 1,186 ships abandon the harbor. But they don't go far, just beyond the horizon, waiting for the signal. Inside the horse, one warrior shifts position. His leg has gone numb. Another warrior grabs his shoulder. Don't move. The man freezes. Hour 6, 6 a.m. Dawn. Inside the horse, the warriors have been sitting for 6 hours. No water, no food, unable to move. Muscles begin to numb. Thirst starts to bite. The heat inside the wooden cavity is already climbing, but not a word. Hour 8, 8 a.m. Trojan citizens on morning watch see something impossible. The Greek camps destroyed. The harbor empty. The fleet vanished. For the first time in 10 years, the beach is quiet. Only the massive horse remains. The news spreads through the city in minutes. People rush to the walls. They're crying, screaming, praying. Is it over? King Priam orders scouts to investigate. They open the gates, for the first time in a decade, and venture onto the beach. The camps are destroyed, weapons abandoned, food scattered, and then they find him. Sinon. Chained to a post near the horse, beaten, bleeding, naked, screaming in Greek, begging for mercy. They bring him before King Priam. Hour 10, 10 a.m. Sinon's story is perfect. He claims the Greeks abandoned him as a sacrifice, that Odysseus hated him, that he was chosen to die, but he escaped. And the horse? An offering to Athena, he says. The Greeks built it to gain favor for their journey home. But there's a prophecy. Whoever destroys the horse will be destroyed. Whoever brings it inside their walls will be blessed by the gods. Their city will become invincible. That's why they made it so big, he explains. They knew the Trojans couldn't fit it through their gates. They built it large specifically to prevent Troy from taking it. Perfect reverse psychology. The Trojans fall for it completely. Hey, quick second. If you enjoy these deep dives and the way I tell these stories, consider subscribing. It really helps me keep making them. And tell me in the comments what you'd like to see next. I read them all. Now, here's what almost ruined everything. Cassandra, Priam's advisor, screams warnings, says the horse reeks of death, that Greeks hide inside. Nobody listens. Laocoon, a priest, hurls his spear at the horse's side. It strikes the wood with a hollow thud. Inside the horse, the 30 warriors hear everything. The impact, the screams, the arguments. Odysseus grips his sword tighter. They've been inside 10 hours. The heat is unbearable, the air thick. One warrior starts hyperventilating, panic setting in. Another grabs his arm, squeezes. A silent order, control yourself. Then, according to legend, 2 massive serpents emerge from the sea and strangle Laocoon and his sons. The Trojans see it as divine punishment. The debate ends. They'll bring it inside. Hour 12 p.m., noon. The Trojans begin tearing down part of their wall to fit the horse. Inside, the warriors hear construction sounds. Hammers, shouts, falling stones. They're destroying their own defenses. Odysseus allows himself a small smile in the darkness. The plan is working. Hour 14, 2 p.m. The breach in the wall is complete. Thousands of Trojans tie ropes to the horse. They begin pulling. Slowly, the horse moves. Inside, the 30 warriors slide to one side from the movement. One crashes into the wooden wall. The impact resonates. Outside, nobody hears it. There's too much noise, too much music, too much celebration. The warriors stabilize themselves, keep breathing, keep quiet. Hour 15, 3 p.m. The horse rolls through the breach in the wall, into Troy, into the heart of the city. The Greeks are inside. The Trojans position the horse in the central plaza, a monument to their victory. Inside, the warriors have been sitting for 15 hours, completely still, not speaking, barely breathing. But now the hardest part begins, waiting for the city to sleep. Hour 18, 6 p.m. The celebrations continue. Wine flows through the streets. Music echoes off the walls. Families feast together for the first time in a decade. The war is over. Inside the horse, Odysseus counts the hours. 6 more to go. Hour 22, 10 p.m. The Trojans drink themselves unconscious. Guards abandon their posts. The entire city lets down its guard. For the first time in 10 years, Troy sleeps peacefully. Inside the horse, Odysseus knows the fleet is waiting for his signal. 2 more hours. Hour 24, 12 a.m. Midnight. 24 hours after entering the horse. Odysseus finally moves. He makes a silent signal. The warriors position themselves. Epeius, the horse's builder, knows exactly where the release mechanism is. He presses a hidden panel. A soft click. The panel opens. Fresh air enters for the first time in 24 hours. One by one, 30 Greek warriors descend from the horse using a rope. 12:03 a.m. They're in the city center, Central Plaza, surrounded by unconscious Trojans, empty streets. They split into 3 teams of 10. Team 1, objective, the main gates. Odysseus leads this team. They move through narrow streets, single file, hand signals only. Every shadow could hide a guard. Every window could have eyes. They pass sleeping Trojans slumped against walls. After 4 minutes, they reach the main gate complex. 2 guards stand at their posts, but they're leaning against the wall, eyes closed, drunk. Odysseus signals. 2 warriors move forward. Silent, efficient. Both guards die without making a sound. Now the gates, massive bronze doors, 40 feet tall, weighing several tons each, locked with 3 mechanisms: a crossbar, a chain, a bolt system. The crossbar alone requires 4 men to lift. Odysseus points. 4 warriors move to the crossbar. They lift slowly. The wood groans. Too loud. They freeze. Listen. Nothing. They continue. The crossbar comes free. Next, the chain. Wrapped around massive iron posts. One warrior pulls a dagger and works the links. Metal scrapes metal. The chain falls free. Finally, the bolt. Two warriors work together. They pull the lever. The bolt slides. 12:08 a.m. The gates are unlocked. 6 warriors push. The gates swing open. For the first time in 10 years, Troy's main entrance is wide open. Team 2. Objective: signal the fleet. They need to reach the highest tower in Troy. The team leader is Diomedes. They move through the residential district. Houses packed tight. They reach a wide avenue. Open space. Dangerous. Diomedes spots movement. A patrol. 3 guards. He signals. Hide. They press against building walls. Completely still. The guards pass within 10 feet. Laughing. Talking about the war being over. They don't notice the shadows. The patrol moves on. Diomedes' team reaches the temple district. The tower looms above. 100 feet tall. The entrance is guarded. 2 sober guards standing alert. Diomedes circles around to the back. A service entrance, unguarded. They slip inside. Up stone stairs, up, up, up. Finally, they reach the top. Diomedes pulls out 3 torches pre-soaked in oil. Lights them in sequence. Fire, fire, fire. 12:11 a.m. The signal is sent. On the horizon, the Greek fleet sees it. They turn around. 50,000 warriors begin rowing toward Troy. Team 3. Objective: eliminate resistance. The team leader is Ajax the Lesser. They move through the government district where off-duty guards sleep in barracks. Ajax signals. 2 warriors enter the first barracks. Inside, 20 guards sleeping on cots. The warriors move bed by bed, throats cut, no screaming. All 20 dead in under 3 minutes. Next barracks, 15 more guards, all eliminated. One guard wakes up, sees the intruder, opens his mouth to shout. A dagger flies across the room, hits him in the throat. He gurgles, falls. The other guards keep sleeping. Ajax's team continues systematically. The armory, the watchtowers, the officer quarters. 12:15 a.m. All organized resistance has been eliminated. Troy is completely vulnerable. 12:45 a.m. The first Greek soldiers enter through the open gates. They move fast, spreading through the streets. 5,000 inside within 15 minutes. 1 a.m. 10,000 Greeks now control the main streets. They start lighting fires, the signal for the rest of the army. Troy is still sleeping. 1:30 a.m. 30,000 Greek soldiers flood the city. Some Trojans wake up, see flames, see armed men. They try to run, try to fight, try to hide. Too late. Duapagi. 50,000 Greek warriors occupy every district of Troy. The city finally understands what's happening. Screaming erupts, panic spreads, but there's nowhere to run. The Greeks control all the gates. Troy is a trap, and the Trojans are inside it. Duabelis Limapagi. King Priam wakes to chaos. His palace is surrounded. Fires everywhere. He's 70 years old, too old to fight effectively, but he grabs a ceremonial sword anyway. His guards rush in. "My king, we must evacuate." "Where?" Priam interrupts. "Where is safe?" The guard has no answer. Priam walks to his throne room. If he's going to die, it will be here. He sits on his throne and waits. Footsteps echo in the hallway, getting closer. The doors burst open. Neoptolemus stands there, Achilles' son, 19 years old, covered in blood, not his own. Priam rises. "I am an old man, a king. You deserve nothing." Neoptolemus remembers his father, killed by Paris, this man's son. He crosses the room in 4 strides. Priam tries to raise his sword, too slow. Neoptolemus drives his blade through Priam's chest. The king of Troy dies on the altar of Zeus, the most sacred place in the city. 3:00 a.m. Menelaus hunts through the burning palace. He's looking for one person, Helen, the woman whose face launched 1,186 ships. The reason 25,000 Greeks died over 10 years. He finds her in her chambers. She's not hiding, just sitting, waiting. They lock eyes. 10 years, thousands dead, all for this moment. Menelaus raises his sword. Helen doesn't speak, doesn't beg, just looks at him. Ancient sources disagree on what happens next. Some say she opened her robe, that seeing her beauty again made his rage melt away. Others say she claimed Paris forced her, that she never wanted to leave Sparta. Others say she said nothing at all. Whatever the truth, Menelaus lowers his sword. He takes her arm. "You're coming home." She doesn't resist. 4 a.m. The massacre continues throughout the city. Every Trojan man is being killed, every woman and child enslaved. Temples are looted, treasuries emptied. Buildings that stood for centuries collapse in flames. Odysseus walks through the streets, supervising the destruction. This was his plan, his strategy, his victory. But watching it unfold, he feels nothing, just emptiness. 6 a.m. Dawn. Troy no longer exists. Smoke rises from the ruins, bodies fill every street. The walls, those legendary impenetrable walls, still stand. But they protect nothing now. The Greeks spend 3 days collecting treasure, gold, silver, bronze, weapons, art, everything of value. Then they burn what's left. Total casualties, 10-year war. Greeks lost 25,000 warriors. Final night, every Trojan, estimated at 50,000 people. Survivors, 0. All because of 30 men in a wooden horse. And 18 hours of absolute silence. But the Greeks don't get a happy ending. Odysseus' journey home takes 10 years, longer than the entire war. Monsters, storms, gods seeking revenge. His entire crew dies. Only he survives. Agamemnon returns to Mycenae victorious. His wife murders him in his bath the night he arrives. Menelaus brings Helen back to Sparta. Some sources say they lived happily. Others say their marriage was poisoned forever. Neoptolemus dies young, murdered at Delphi. Most Greek commanders never make it home. Shipwrecks, mutinies, betrayals. The gods don't forgive Troy's destruction. And Troy? Archaeological evidence confirms one thing. A city at the site of ancient Troy was destroyed by fire around 1184 BC. The exact legendary date of the fall. The ruins remained for centuries, a monument to hubris, to the danger of trusting gifts from enemies. Romans later claimed descent from Trojan refugees. Aeneas, a Trojan prince who escaped the burning city, allegedly founded Rome. The greatest empire in ancient history traced its origins to Troy's ashes. The Trojan horse became history's ultimate symbol of deception, of warfare through cunning rather than strength. Even today, 3,000 years later, computer viruses that hide inside innocent-looking programs are called Trojan horses. All because Odysseus asked a simple question. What if instead of breaking down their walls, we make them break down their own walls? 30 warriors, a 75-foot wooden horse, 18 hours of silence, 24 hours from entry to total destruction, and an empire that stood for centuries fell in one night. The legacy lives on, but Troy wasn't the last empire destroyed by deception. In Rome, 60 senators killed Julius Caesar. One morning, 23 wounds. Watch what happened next.